Welcome, everyone. My name is Raymond Neff with ESET North America, and today we're going to discuss web control and device control. Basically, if you have endpoint security, you have both those things by default. If you're using the endpoint antivirus, you'll only have device control. So if you want that web control and you have an entry license bundle or above, you get that endpoint security product where you can enable web control within the endpoint solution itself. So to turn it on, really, it's just in a policy setting. I'm going to do a new policy, and I could just say turn on device control, web control as a name. And then when we go to settings, we're going to select the endpoint for Windows. So this is going to be our policy that we're going to assign to our machines where we want to turn this on. Sometimes you want different web control policies for different categories and things for different groups in your environment. So you can separate, maybe like if you had marketing and they need to get to Facebook, they would have a different web control policy than your normal users that may not want them going to those sites or job sites and things like that. So you can separate these rules into different settings as far as web control goes. Now, when we look in here, it's easy to set up. So we just go into web access protection, and then down here we go into web control. So if I want to enable web control, I can, and then I can create a URL rule. If I just have some URLs I want to block, you can do that by just coming in, adding a rule, and then you could name it whatever you want, tell it to block. If you want to log the rule, informational, you can. And down here, you just add the URL in here. It's really just the domain. You don't wildcard it or anything. But if you don't want them going to google.com, you can put google.com, and it doesn't matter any website that has that URL that has it in it, it's going to block it. So that's one way to do a URL list. If you do have like a category block, you can create a URL list to allow certain URLs within the category if something's getting blocked. But usually you don't have to do that. Now, if I want to create a category-based rule, I can add, and then I can just label it block categories, and then I can select my categories that I want blocked. So if I want all adult material, I can select it. Or if I only want certain things that I want to allow them not to go to. So we don't take care of the categories. We use a third-party company that categorizes all these websites that we look at to allow to get that category and block it. Okay. So you can go through it and block whatever you want. You don't want them to go to social media. You can block that. Of course, anything that you can see in here, you can block it. And then once you set it up to block, then you hit OK. Then anytime somebody goes to that site, we have a page that pops up that says, we blocked the site. But you can put your own message in here that you want them to see, like this site's been blocked by IT. If you need to get there, call this number or whatever want, and then you can even put a graphic in it too. So that's the web control, super easy to set up. Then we have device control. If you want to enable device control, of course, the device needs to be restarted to enable it. You can see that may be required because we're scanning all the devices that are already plugged into it. So if we have rules to block those things, it'll block the use of them. So if I come in here to rules, I can add a rule, and the rules get looked at top to bottom. So I can tell it, okay, I don't want to allow any disk storage on my devices. So I can block the disk storage, and then that's pretty much it, and assign this to the machines. It won't let any disk storage. But if I want to tell it to block all devices, I can. This isn't going to block like keyboards and mice or anything like that. But if I said all device types, it would block all these, or just want storage, you're able to do that. And it's going to block it. You can set times that this happens too. I know like IT people need to plug USB devices in, so they would just have a different policy than this one that's blocking that. Or you could block all disk storage devices and then create an allow rule for a certain device with it's by vendor, model, or serial number. So block all, and then give my IT guys USB devices that basically have a serial number on them. That way, it'll only allow that device to be plugged into it and write to it. So that's the web control and the device control that comes in our ESET Endpoint Security product. And it's super easy to set up, but it's not on by default out of the box. So if you want to configure it, it's super easy. And thanks for joining.